Hi everyone, welcome to week 7 of UOSS, University Orientation and Study Skills. I hope you had a good break in the last week. So this is the first of what will be many short videos covering the content that we would normally be that I would normally be presenting to you in class, with the idea that it helps you prepare for your activities that we will now be doing in the online live tutorial. So my advice would be to look at these videos as close as you can to the tutorial. You can look at them as many times as you like, but it would be most helpful right before we do the activities, because it really is like the first hour of a tutorial, or slightly less than 1 hour, and that will be most beneficial to you, closest to when you're doing the activities, just for memory. So what we're doing this week, we're continuing something we started in week 5 when we had our last class. So in week 5, we introduced the structure of an academic essay. We started to break that down and look at its components. Then we focused on introductions, but this week we're going to what's next. We're looking at the structure of a paragraph. We're also looking at transition signals, which is just a term we use for the words and phrases that help show the relationship between ideas in your writing, and they play quite an important role, if you like, for building a paragraph. So we'll be looking at those transition signals. And I hope that overall you see the relationship between the foundational principles of an academic argument, so what we mentioned in week 5, that is that it's logical, systematic, based on evidence, and the basic rules of writing a paragraph. Okay, so before we continue, I'm just going to give you a brief overview and recap of the function structure of the body of an essay. So what exactly does the body of an essay do? Unlike the introduction, this is not saying what you will do, it's already doing it. You're underway. So the body is where you're actually answering the essay question. You do this by making a logical argument, so it consists of paragraphs that develop one main point each. And it's also where you provide the evidence that supports your assertions. Okay, so here you'll see that this is one way of visualizing the academic argument as a structure. So you'll see that everything stems from the question at the top, and next comes the thesis. And what you've got underneath the thesis or your argument are 3 reasons that are each supported by evidence, evidence, evidence. You have, and that multiple, writing that down there is important also for highlighting the fact that it's not just one piece of evidence, that you're going to have multiple sources, multiple evidence and examples, hopefully, that support each of these reasons. Okay, so what does a paragraph actually look like? What does it contain? Firstly, it has a topic sentence. This indicates the main idea of the paragraph, and it limits the topic to 1 or 2 areas that can be fully discussed in a single paragraph. So those are its primary functions. It then has supporting sentences. So these develop the topic sentence, and they give the reasons, provide the evidence, examples and interpretations, and they also make arguments. Finally, it has a concluding sentence, which signals the end of the paragraph. It usually leaves the reader with a clear sense of what the paragraph was about, and it can also be used to tie the arguments made in the paragraph to the essay's thesis. And this can be quite useful just to remind the reader of why you've really made this point, and show that you're answering the question. So you can see here that this is kind of following a structure of first topic sentence, then supporting sentences, then a concluding sentences. But it is important to note that while the topic sentence is usually the first sentence in a paragraph, this isn't always the case. Sometimes the first sentence is actually a bridge between previous discussion and the current paragraph, and the second sentence is actually the topic sentence. Sometimes you actually have a paragraph that has 2 or 3 topic sentences which move from something general to specific. However, with all this in mind, what you can identify is when a paragraph is of poor quality, when it's not good, it is often a collection of loosely related statements. So those statements are not unified by a topic or a concluding sentences, nor are there clear links between them. So rather than have a really strict, rigid structure here of one sentence on this, several sentences on that, and then a concluding sentence, what we're really encouraging you to see is that all of these are linked, and they all have quite a clear function to develop this main idea. In some respects, a paragraph is a little bit like a miniature essay with its own intro, body, and conclusion. Okay, so here we have a nice visual representation of a paragraph where a burger, I hope you're not hungry or it's not lunchtime, a burger has a bun on the top, it's a topic sentence, all the yummy goods in the middle to the supporting sentences, and then another bun to close off for the concluding sentences. Yum. For this activity, I recommend that you actually pause the recording, as I want you to write or type down your ideas so that we can come back to them in our virtual class. So if you don't have a pen and paper handy or a Word document open on your computer, I would do that now. So have a read of this paragraph. And the main question I want you to think about is, what is the problem with it? Can you write that problem down, and also how you would fix it? So how would you fix this paragraph? So we'll come back to this for the online tutorial.